What is it really like living in the city of White Rock? What can you expect if you choose to call the city of White Rock home? If you're someone who has considered relocating or moving to the city of White Rock, today's video is just for you because I'm gonna let you know rapid fire about everything you need to know about living, playing, and residing in the city of White Rock, British Columbia. This is all gonna be 100% from a local's perspective, and you're gonna wanna hang around to the very end as well because I'm gonna let you know on the exact way on how you can make sure that this community is absolutely perfect and bright for you and your family. That all sounds good? Cue the music, let's get into it. My name is Darren, a realtor in Surrey BC with McDonald Realty and team leader of the German group. If this is your first time on this channel is 100% dedicated to teaching you everything you need to know about living in Surrey, British Columbia, White Rock, British Columbia, or just covering everything that happens in the crazy world of British Columbia real estate, which tends to happen on a pretty frequent basis. If you want to be one of the first people to learn about the exciting updates happening in either of these communities or with British Columbia real estate, consider subscribing so you are the first to be alerted. People just like you are booking online meetups with me and my team every day. And the good news is we're here to help you too. Whether you're moving in the next 9 days, 90 days, or even 9 months from now, use the link to book a time to speak with me and my team about your relocation to the area, and we will make sure it is the absolute best move that it could ever be for you. All right, so it's time to let you in on some of the local secrets about living in White Rock. I'm just kidding. There is no secrets about living in White Rock. You could source this information from any corner of the internet. However, I've tried to collect all the information I think is going to be really relevant to you in today's video so you can have the information you need completely rapid fire to help you even decide if you want to go deeper into learning about living in this amazing city. We're going to cover things like White Rock in totality, just a general overview of White Rock. We're also going to talk about getting around White Rock, what the public transportation is like, and what it's like to drive a car in the neighborhood. We're going to talk about the weather in White Rock, what you can expect, as well as the communities in White Rock and surrounding communities as well. We're going to talk about things like the people of White Rock, the demographics of White Rock, the cost of living in White Rock, the housing options available in White Rock, and we'll wrap the video up with a little bit about recreation in the area as well. What do you do for fun? Now, of course, as I mentioned, this is going to be quick to try and keep this video a little bit shorter than it really needs to be. But if you ever want to learn more about living in White Rock generally, be sure to check out our Living in White Rock playlist, where we dive into many of these topics completely in detail to make sure if anything that is really important to you, you're going to get the full scoop and full story on them. So that playlist is going to be a big resource for anybody looking to relocate to the area. But without further ado, let's jump into it. Let's talk a little bit about White Rock in general. So White Rock is a suburb in Metro Vancouver. It is completely surrounded by really only two things: the city of Surrey and the ocean. There's no getting around that. It's a pretty neat kind of little border town that has a really rich history, primarily driven by the railway that still runs through White Rock today. Now, this video is not about the history of White Rock. We've done videos on that before, but White Rock is a seaside community and one of the premier communities to live in all of the Fraser Valley. With a population of approximately 22,000, this is a place where many people strive to eventually call home as they move themselves up the property ladder. When it comes to getting around White Rock, you're either doing so likely by public transit or by car. And White Rock, like many areas in the Lower Mainland or Fraser Valley, there is seemingly construction almost everywhere. There is primarily lots of new developments going up, lots of high-rise developments to take advantage of that beautiful ocean view of Semiahmoo Bay. So you do need to be prepared for the odd construction delay, especially when you're in the downtown areas. You are definitely going to need a car in White Rock, and that's for a couple reasons. Number one, White Rock is incredibly hilly. Most areas are not that easily walkable, especially for people that maybe have mobility challenges or maybe a little bit older in age. You're going to want a car to get around for most areas. Not only that, but the public transportation options in White Rock, because it's so far away from North Surrey, there's really not a lot of good options outside of the odd bus if you're lucky to live close to a bus route, but you're still typically walking up some hills to get to that bus stop as well. Because White Rock is completely surrounded by Surrey, there's no getting to anywhere without going through Surrey, and traffic can be, well, it can be relatively challenging to get to other places in the Lower Mainland. The Lower Mainland is a really big delta, which has got rivers and bridges absolutely everywhere. So if you're traveling to Vancouver, sometimes it can take quite a bit of time. To give you an example, to jump in the car to get to just the middle of Vancouver right now, it would probably take about 60 minutes in traffic. So other areas of the Lower Mainland aren't easily accessed at most points. In fact, the Vancouver suburbs, which includes White Rock, are rated as having the second worst traffic in all of North America. But I think what you'll appreciate about that is if you're living in the White Rock and South Surrey area, you typically don't have to go very far to access most services, recreation, and hopefully even visit family, friends, or go to work. Just a quick interruption to let you know that we're on a mission to empower home buyers and sellers to achieve unparalleled success in real estate. This video that you're enjoying right now is a labor of love, free from ads by choice, to help you nail your next move to our community and learn all about the crazy world of real estate from a real person who cares. Now, this takes hours and hours each week to get right, and it's just for you. So here's my humble request. A simple like from you on this video. That's all I'm asking. No need to hit subscribe. Just a click, taking mere seconds, could make a monumental difference to me, but more crucially, it could transform the journey for someone else who needs to hear this video's message. So thanks in advance for that like, and I hope you find the rest of this video to be just as valuable. When it comes to the weather in White Rock, well, naturally we're beside the ocean. So as you would imagine, the weather is quite temperate, and we do have a relative ocean breeze at almost all times of the year. What I absolutely love about this is in the summer, it doesn't tend to get super hot. In fact, from June to September, the average daily high is only 19 degrees, but naturally it gets warmer than that in the months of July and August as an example. Now, being temperate, that means in the winter, it also doesn't get as cold. So in the cold seasons, as an example, from November to February, we have an average daily high of 10 degrees, which if you're coming from anywhere else in Canada, that is like summertime in the winter. It's really quite nice. Naturally, that makes it quite hard for snow to actually come around and hit White Rock, real White Rock, not South Surrey, but real White Rock, because of how close to the water it is. So it's very infrequent that White Rock actually gets snow, and even more infrequent that White Rock gets snow that actually ends up hanging around longer than a day or two. The one thing you do want to be prepared for with the weather in White Rock is it is usually a little bit windy, and we get some pretty good windstorms out here at least a few times per year. When it comes to the communities in White Rock is really its own little community in its own right. It is surrounded by South Surrey, which has got different pockets scattered throughout, but the purpose of this video is all about White Rock. So you can really break it down into kind of East White Rock and West White Rock. West White Rock is primarily residential neighborhoods. Lots of detached homes, very few commercial options, but beautiful communities in their own right, many of them with views of the ocean. West White Rock is a little bit closer to a lot of the shopping and services that are offered in White Rock. So this is where you're going to find the police station, the fire station, the library, Johnson Street shopping, Five Corners, Marine Drive. There's really only three kind of main commercial areas in White Rock to actually go shopping or go find dining or anything like that, and they're quite small compared to other things that you might find in South Surrey. So one of the reasons that people refer to South Surrey White Rock is because White Rock and South Surrey are located on a peninsula, almost kind of tucked away from everything else. The good news about this is that means everything that South Surrey has to offer, basically the residents of White Rock get to enjoy as well. And South Surrey has a ton to offer, and everything is easily accessible. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about some of these other communities in South Surrey as well as White Rock, you definitely want to check out this video right here. All about searching for houses for sale in South Surrey and White Rock. Almost an insider's guide breaking down each community in the area so you can pick the absolute best for you and your family. When it comes to people and demographics, the most recent data we have is from the 2021 census that was done. This was done by Statistics Canada and showed that at the time there was 21,939 residents residing in the city of White Rock. Now, White Rock is not very big. In fact, it's about 5 square kilometers. So this means there's approximately 4,200 to 4,300 people residing in each square kilometer in the neighborhood. It's growing quite quick out here as well, with roughly about a 10% increase from the 2016 census. Naturally, because it is tucked away on the peninsula with South Surrey, you are going to have many residents kind of residing from South Surrey coming into the White Rock area. And because it is somewhat of a tourist town, it can get quite busy at times. One of the interesting things that I always find about White Rock, though, is the average age of its residents is significantly higher than what the average age of residents are in British Columbia. The average age of a resident in British Columbia is about 42.3 years old. However, in White Rock, the average age of its residents is 53.3. It's a really well-mixed community as well, with about 73% of the population being of European descent, 9% being from East Asia, and almost 8% being from South Asia. About 54% of the population is female, and I got even better news for all the gentlemen watching this video. Just about 20% of the population is single. Jumping into the cost of living now, the website Area Vibes slates White Rock as being approximately 17% more expensive to live in than the Canadian average. It's a well-to-do community. It's a beachside community, so naturally you would expect things to be a little more expensive in a really hot tourist spot where many people would love to live. With that being said though, when compared to the wild world of living in the Lower Mainland, especially coming from Vancouver as an example, you're going to find detached homes on average being approximately $700,000 cheaper than what you would pay or buy in Vancouver. Vancouver's obviously a very expensive city, we all know that. So White Rock, well, if you compare it to Vancouver, it looks really cheap, but you're going to pay about $350,000 more for a home in White Rock than you would on average for anywhere in the Fraser Valley, which is basically North Delta all the way to Mission. If you're someone that's watching this video and you're considering renting in the neighborhood, the website Zumper suggests that a 2-bedroom basement suite or 2-bedroom rental generally is going to run you about $3,000 in the city of White Rock in comparison to the city of Vancouver, where that same 2-bedroom is going for an average of $3,700, $700 more expensive. We did a really great video all about the cost of living in White Rock that looks just like this, titled "Is White Rock BC Expensive?" So be sure to check that out if you want to learn much more about the cost of living in the city of White Rock, British Columbia. When it comes to housing, White Rock is probably really not much different from wherever you are watching this video right now. Now, a lot of the density is coming to the neighborhood, and that is all ending up in the commercial areas, right on Johnson Street, basically around the corner of 16th Avenue and 152nd Street. However, for the bulk of it, I would say White Rock is primarily detached homes, single family residences, because again, it's a more premier kind of higher end, more expensive area. So you do have a lot less kind of condensed stratified properties in the neighborhood. Near the city center, where you're going to find Semi-Amu Town Center, you will find a lot of those strata options. And the really great thing is for anybody that is in the retirement zone or age of their life, there's many age restricted buildings up on the flatter area of White Rock, close to all of this shopping, which is very walkable. So you can build a really cool community if you're someone that is, let's say, over the age of 65. There's lots of opportunity to buy homes in White Rock, and there's lots of opportunities to rent homes in White Rock. So you've got some really good options in terms of housing generally if you're looking to relocate here. Before I let you know how to source some of this information in much better detail to make sure that this is the absolute best community for you, I want to finish with recreation and what you can do for fun in the city of White Rock. Now, naturally, again, it's a seaside community. So if you love anything to do with the water, whether it's boating, sailing, skimboarding, taking the dog to the beach, walking along the beach, whatever that is, this is, of course, a great option for you to do in this area. But siding on to South Surrey, you've also got some incredible parks in the area like Crescent Park or Sunnyside Urban Acres, which can get you away from all of the hustle and bustle incredibly quick so you can enjoy some nature and some well-needed tranquility. White Rock has got libraries. White Rock has got community centers. White Rock has got a great culture scene. And because it's a little bit of a tourist hotspot, there are some really neat hole-in-the-wall restaurants that we'll do a video on at some point about our favorite restaurants in White Rock. But whether it's on Johnson Street or down on Marine Drive, there is some really cool options to go out for a great bite to eat on the weekend. If you wanted to stay in White Rock proper and not actually get into the South Surrey neighborhood, you do have those shopping options down at Marine Drive, which is right on the beach. Marine Drive, you probably figured that out. On the Johnson Street hillside or up kind of by Semi-Amu Town center, which borders with the city of Surrey. As a local, some of my absolute favorite things to do when staying in the city is go for a walk down on the beach with my family, having a coffee, walking the promenade, maybe heading up to South Surrey Athletic Park to take the kids to go play or watch a soccer game, or even though this isn't really in White Rock, it's jumping in the car and taking off for 45 minutes to the local mountains to take the family snowboarding. It's all good and it's all awesome. Now, before I let you go, I wanted to give you a way to figure out all the information about whether White Rock is a great place for you to live and get a little deeper on all the things that we've talked about. And if you were paying very, very close attention, you heard me say it already, and that is our Living in White Rock playlist, completely packed with everything you need to know about what makes this area awesome and even some of the things that you might want to consider before you actually choose to call this place home. If you're watching this video, leave a comment below and let me know what your one question about White Rock is. What's the one thing you wish you knew, but I didn't cover in this video? And if you're a local watching this video, also comment below and let people know what your absolute favorite thing about living in our community is. That way, everybody watching this can know all of the best things that this awesome spot has to offer. Now you're up to speed on what it's like to be a local in the city of White Rock. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll definitely look forward to seeing you on the next video. Cheers.